steps I took. It was so fast. In my mind, it took a half an hour, but I know it was seconds, if not hundredths of a second. It happened. After my last shot, I immediately, like I said, I'm trying to watch. The male was somewhere that had come running up, was somewhere, I'm not sure, somewhere between here and the skidster. And then, like I said, she was at the four-wheeler, and I had kind of ran or backed up, whatever I did, to get them more in front of me, so I didn't get shot in the back. When the individual was picking up shell casings, we were kind of towards the center line in front of this skidster. But I don't know where I was standing. I knew where I was standing before it all started, when he first got there and was loading the rifle. But then that was just because I was looking at the highway. We walked up to the bull when it all started. We walked with him. And then I had stopped. Just assumed he's going to shoot him in the back of the head where it's clear, so I obviously wasn't going to walk around in front of the bull. I stopped somewhere to the west and rear, and then when he turned and fired, like I said, I spun to the right. I know I was moving because I thought I was hit. I didn't see the bullet. It could have went 10 feet over my head, could have hit the pavement. I don't know. All I know is I felt a slight gust on my leg and a pain in my ribs and something that went by my side. Bullet, shockwave, I don't know.
Where was your partner?
Him, Deputy Wood, and the suspect were right at the bull's head.
Okay. And that would have been toward the bed of the pickup there?
Actually, this was probably a little bit further south, just for the fact that I was thinking that if he shot him in the head, at first I thought he was going to shoot him to the east, and I remember thinking if that goes through that head, it's going to put a hole right through the door of that pickup, so I'm probably just slightly off.
Okay. But he comes around and starts facing back to the south.
Yes.
And is he starting to line up on the bull, facing to the south?
He completely, like, he kind of looked at the bull's head, and like I said, I was a little bit nervous he was going to shoot through the side into the pickup.
Mm-hmm.
When he moved towards the front, I was like, okay, he's just, checking him out, seeing what he's going to do. And then he just pulls up that rifle like he's going to shoot to the south. And then, like I said, I don't know what I yelled, but I don't know if it was stop, no, hey, don't do that. I don't know what I said. I said something. They were the only words I ever spoke to the person. And then that's when Deputy Wood tried to intervene.
where was Deputy Wood standing in proximity? If you're saying that, Mr. Yantis was approximately here, right, and pointing this direction,
Mm-hmm.
where was Deputy Wood in comparison?
And we're not gonna nail you down,
Yeah.
we're just trying to probe your memories of what you you remember. We're not gonna nail you down to feet and inches here.
Just in
an idea.
proximity to him.
It's not that I don't necessarily remember, is so much as I wasn't really watching Deputy Wood. I was watching him because I was starting to get nervous. We just,
What were you starting to get nervous about?
well, when he started moving around to the, first I was nervous, like I said, because I thought he was going to shoot through the side and hit that pickup.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he started moving around the front of the bowl, that's when I started getting really nervous. And then I want to say Deputy Wood was somewhere near the side or rear of the bowl, and then moved in to try and stop him from shooting to the south. I'm not exactly sure where he was. All I know is I seen him get up to the suspect and try to intervene to keep him from shooting from the south. I don't know where he was when the suspect was walking around the head. I'm not exactly sure. I'm sure I did at the time. I would have never let him. I know he was there. I can't tell you where he was standing.
That's okay.
Approximately how far away from Mr. Yantis were you at the time of the shooting? Just
I want to say, I believe I told the sheriff I believed I was 6 to 10 feet. I think six feet, I think, is a little close. I was a little bit farther away until Deputy Wood got in the struggle, and I'm gonna say 10 feet, but it's not necessarily a guess, but I'm not 100% sure if that's a good estimate.
okay. When he turned and faced back to the south, what were you thinking that he was going to do?
When it kind of all goes back to when he first looked at the side of the bull's head. That's when I started getting nervous. But when he moved around and faced south and looked at the bull's head instead of pointing the rifle at it, then my nervousness kind of came down, because then I was like, okay, he's just looking at his bull.
Mm-hmm.
And in a split second, he just pulled that rifle up and started to take aim, and then that's when I yelled, said, I don't know what I said. It took his attention away
Why were you yelling at him?
because there was no way I was ever going to let him shoot south and hit any of the EMTs that were down below or the female on the four-wheeler. There was no way we're going to just let him shoot in that direction, so we were trying to get him stopped.
Okay, okay. And then from that point, you're yelling at him. Officer Woods, is it?
Officer Wood.
Officer Wood there's some sort of confrontation between them. Does he grab him or yell at him, or?
They were almost shoulder to shoulder, and like I said, Deputy Wood was either pushing the gun or trying to get a hold of it, and that's when the suspect shoved Wood put his hands on Deputy Wood's left side and shoved him to the right. And that's when Deputy Wood was off balance, standing on his right foot. And that's when
he comes up with the rifle at you,
yes,
and he touches a round off.
yes,
And at this point, you're kind of closing the gap a little bit. You've already reached and started to remove your handgun, and that gun comes up. I mean, you just, at this point, if I'm following you correctly, that gun comes up, he touches a round off, you're almost simultaneously engaging him.
like I said, the small things stick in my head. I had ordered a new level 3 holster I'd never used before. When I started here, I've practiced and practiced and practiced with it. It's still a little bit slow. I was thinking when I come back in the spring and go to work for the sheriff's office, I'm going to a different a level 2 holster. But this will work for the remainder of this year. I will never forget it the rest of my life. When that gun went off, thinking, how did this happen? I should have been so much faster. When I felt the shock, thinking that round should have never gone off. I should have beat him. Like I said, I had just left my 1-year-old's birthday party, and I sat in that ambulance looking at a picture from her birthday party, thinking I should have ditched that goddamn holster a long time ago. I got something quicker.
As you're approaching him, you see a struggle between Yantis and Wood. What are you thinking at that point is about to happen? I'm just trying to get into your mind because I know how you responded. I'm just trying to, I want you to explain to me why you responded that way.
The best way, I'm not gonna say, I mean, you guys are the interviewers, I'm not gonna say you guys, but cops in general, for the most part, their partner or fellow law enforcement gets into a struggle, I mean, they automatically move towards it
Mm-hmm.
to help. At that point, I'm gonna call it complacency. I would have never in a million years expected him to turn on us. I should have. It was emotional. He's gonna have to put down his bull. I just thought it was gonna be a struggle. We're gonna have to take the gun, get somebody to bring we're just not gonna be able to, if he's wanting to shoot to the south, we're just gonna have to take the gun and somebody else is gonna have to do it.
Mm-hmm. All right. He comes up on you with a rifle. He fires. You spin. You said he's doing something. Describe to me what you see him doing after he fires that gun.
He was looking down at the rifle, and I'd already fired, and I'm thinking, why isn't he stopping? It was such a split second. I thought he was, I thought he was reloading to go again. I didn't know.
But you had already fired a round at that point.
Yes.
Okay.
When he, I just remember thinking, I was kind of in shock, thinking, why hasn't he stopped? Why is he still trying to go? I don't know if I thought I missed or it was when he was initially loading that weapon, he had his back turned to me, so I didn't see how many rounds he put in it. When the female had, I believe the female handed him that rifle, or he had pulled it from the folder. I thought I saw it was a lever action rifle. My first thought was he was trying to lever another round into it. I could not see at that angle if the lever was moving. I just remember thinking, he's gonna get another round in there, and I might not be standing here the next one.
Have you ever had any contact with him in the past?
No.
So you don't know him at all?
If I've met him in town, I didn't know it. I try to this is a little bit different community. You can't. What I liked about coming here, it was a little bit slower paced, and you have a chance to talk to people and get to know people. I don't write a lot of tickets, make a lot of arrests. So if I did meet him, I've met a lot of people here. I just don't recall names. So if I did meet him, I don't know, but I don't think so.
Okay. About how many shots do you think you fired?
3 to 4, I believe.
Did anybody else fire?
I can tell you, I know Deputy Wood did. The only reason I do know that is when they put me in the ambulance and they asked me where I was hit, I said, Deputy Wood already checked my side. It'd be on my side, but I don't think I was hit. They were saying, do you have any other injuries? I said, my bell is rung, I can't hear that well. And Deputy Wood said, sorry about that. That's the only reason that I know he had fired.
Okay. Anything that you can think of that you did after the shooting that would have changed the scene at all? Accidentally or intentionally?
All the running around, all the people, the EMTs running through, just one of those small details that stick in my head. I can hear that brass clicking on the pavement. And like I said, that guy picking up the casings. Other than kicking casings, I never did walk up to the suspect.
Can you tell me, how does he get from here to about here?
I don't know, when the gun barrel went down and he started like kind of going sideways into the rear, I started backing up and trying to control the other two people, like I said, so that no other guns come into play. Deputy Wood was dealing with him. I don't know if he staggered that far.
That rifle ends up over on the side of the road over here.
Yes.
How does it get there, do you know?
Deputy Wood threw it.
Okay. How was it lit? The lighting conditions, I mean, I know that you've got some headlights, it's dark out. You remember how lit up it was in there?
It was fairly well lit. At first I did have my flashlight to help illuminate the head, but I remember turning it off and putting in my side pocket to save battery for the crash, and I wouldn't have done that if it was completely pitch dark.
You remember weather conditions, what it was like?
I want to say cloudy.
Is there something that Yantis could have done different that would have kept him from getting shot?
Yeah, not shot at me.
Okay. You think?
I don't.
You have any questions for us?
I do, but I don't think you can answer it.
Okay.
I'll ask anyway. I don't even know if I want to know, but can you tell me what caliber rifle that was?
The rifle itself was a 204 bolt action.
Bolt action. So 4,300 feet per second.
Yeah, it's a screaming round. Let's go ahead and finish this up here.
Okay. We're gonna go ahead and conclude the interview. It's 11:04 a.m. Tuesday, November 3rd.
Okay, here's what happens next. We continue to do interviews and everybody that was in and around and everything, okay? Ultimately, we're gonna have to submit this to a prosecutor who's gonna review it to determine whether there's gonna be any grounds for probable cause to file any charges against you or Officer Boyd. Okay, you understand that?
Yes.
Okay. I will tell you this. At least one of those rounds that you fired went right down the stock with that rifle. So I know that he was up online with you at one point in time. Okay. So there is that is just, that's just the way it is.
I'll tell you, I'm not surprised at all. The fact that you said, I 100% believe you when you say the only thing that you focused on was that gun.
Yeah. No doubt in our minds. So,
Can I show you guys something?
Sure.
I can't get into a lot of details, but I was in Iraq, for crying out loud. I've seen this before. I'm upset because he has a family. I'm upset that the community is tore up. But that was just right before it. Right before it. That's why I'm so upset.
Yeah. You're gonna need some time to work through it. No doubt.
it's just the way it is. And, I appreciate your time, appreciate your honesty. As we go through this, if you got questions, we're usually pretty honest about everything going in there. We're not gonna hold anything back unless we're ordered to do so. But I don't foresee that.
The sheriff and judge and prosecutor and somebody from ISP recommended I get an attorney. Like, I ain't doing it. I know I did the right thing. if they hold me responsible for doing the right thing, then fine. But
Well,
I get to see my kids.
we normally, we do a lot of these, I mean, officer involved shootings, okay, and it's not uncommon, and we're not put off once, you know, one of the officers shows up with his attorney and his attorney, you know, sits down and listens through all this, and, you know,